Morning. Good morning, and we are in chapter 2 of Esther, and we're just going to get in because we kind of finished off with Vashti not obeying the king Ahasuerus, and him putting a decree that she'd be no longer be queen. Doesn't say what happens to her. It just says that she will no longer be queen. It didn't say she was beheaded or anything like that. So I'm not sure what happened to her. But she was degraded. And after these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was the decree against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins brought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hedge, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. And let the maid which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jar, the son of Shemi, the son of Kish, a Benjaminite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, the I can't say the word, Jeconiah, whatever, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hashta, that is Esther. So Hashta, if you looked about there on the right hand side above this, there is a thing that talks about why is she called Hashta, or why is she called Esther. So Hashta is her Jewish or Hebrew name, and Esther is her Persian name. And Esther, I believe, means star. Hashta means myrtle, like a myrtle tree. So that's a little bit about Esther. So he brought up Ashta, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it says his uncle's daughter, so they're cousins. I thought that Mordecai was her uncle, but it sounds like here it's his uncle's daughter, which would be a cousin to him. I always thought it was uncle, but she would have been a lot younger than him if he raised her. So it came to pass that when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought up unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, the keeper of women. And the maiden pleased him, and he obtained kindness of she obtained kindness of him. This is Haggai or whatever, the keeper of women, and he speedily gave her the things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of women. So she seems to be doing okay with it so far. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred. She basically didn't say that she was a Jew. For Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. Remember, Abraham did the same thing with his, not saying that Sarah was his wife, on a few accounts. So this is something I think that could have changed things. Jews probably didn't have the best reputation or anything because they were a conquered people. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after she had been 12 months, according to the manner of women. So this is a whole year that they spend in this purification. So were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors and other things for the purifying of the women. Seems extravagant, but that's the sort of thing that they did at that time, I guess, so that they were in some sort of I guess really, I would think oil of myrrh was to have soft skin or whatever, I don't know. And thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go. This is the process. So this is every maiden that came up to go with her out of the house of women unto the king's house. In the evening she went. On the morrow she returned to the second house of women, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, who kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. So that's what happens with any of the women going through this process. They'd go in, then they'd go back, not to the same house, but to the second house. And now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, that again sounds really complicated, because it's the uncle of Mordecai, and you think, isn't he the so it's definitely cousins. And I always thought Mordecai was her uncle, but it's not. Mordecai's father was her uncle, and had taken her for his daughter. And I think it's good enough to know that he saw her as his daughter. Was come to go in unto the king. She required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So she basically went in quite light. Others might have said, "Oh, I'll come, but I need this poodle here, and I need this cat here, and I need all this makeup and somebody to do my hair. I don't know. But she went in with none of it. So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which was the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces, and gave gifts according to the state of the king. When the virgins were gathered together a second time, Mordecai sat at the king's gate. And I thought this was interesting. Why was Mordecai sitting at the king's gate? The king's gate was a gathering place at the entrance of the royal compound. Sitting at the king's gate meant that one held an official position to protect the king. The account repeatedly mentions Mordecai serving in this role, including when he overheard the bodyguard's plot to assassinate the king. So he had some sort of official role there, not just sitting there being lazy or whatever, I don't know. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, so she's still kind of not telling where she come from. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. So she was following what she'd been taught. One of the things I thought was interesting is often when kids go to college or something, they decide, oh, well, I don't have to live by the same things that my parents did. And they go and do all sorts of things. But in my mind, I never had that. I never felt like, well, I can go and do all sorts of things now. What I felt was, I know what I should be doing, and I want to do the things that I was brought up to do. And I think that's what she's doing here, is she's going, you know what? I've had a good life, and I want this to continue. So I will continue to do the things I learned while I was growing up. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of these which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it to Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof, or informed the king in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of Chronicles before the king. So they had their own chronicles. This isn't like Chronicles of the kings in Jerusalem. This is talking about a different book. So there we have not only Queen Esther now, but also Mordecai, or through Esther, a plot is given to about the king, somebody trying to kill the king. That puts them in a really good position of trust for the king. And we'll see how that works out for them in the next few chapters.